Hey everybody, how you doing today? Fred and Kevin here, back, the Sales Guys Unlimited Sales Growth.
Yeah.
I want to welcome you guys back to another podcast. I'm going to dive into a couple good things today. I'm going to finish off towards the end with another great close,
Hmm.
ping pong close
Yeah.
at the end of the segment today. We're going to dive through a couple things that we've experienced recently too through the sales process, how to overcome different objections, how to overcome maybe that flaky customer where you think maybe not going
Yeah.
to buy, or
Yeah.
rather
Heading
than
nowhere fast
yeah,
and trying to
just
salvage it and
just leave the job site before you give yourself a chance, and just flow through a couple of the things that we've experienced lately. Obviously, we appreciate all our following. If you guys could give us a subscription on the YouTube channel, obviously here. If you like what you see, follow along. If you do have any questions, again, please email us things you're experiencing, you don't want to sit, pre-call, anything, struggles that you might be having at salesguys.unlimited at gmail.com. And then, as always, on our Instagram, some stories and things like that. And then updates for our podcast at salesguys underscore unlimited growth. So please, we appreciate the love and support
yeah.
as we continue on this journey to try to help you guys along in your sales career. So
Sure.
I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
kick off with a couple different things too.
Yeah, absolutely. Fred, thanks for that introduction. And again, we appreciate all the love and support that you're providing us on all the different outlets. So I want to start the day off. Fred and I seem to roundtable, some of our interactions we have with some customers, and maybe some ways to persevere through some difficult situations. I was sharing with Fred earlier this morning. I was with a customer a couple weeks ago. They were looking at a siding project. I got there, didn't have that sort of warm and fuzzy that I was hoping for, even though during our warm-up call and confirmation appointment, it sounded all very good. I don't know if the guy was or couple was having a rough morning or rough day, but either way, it was an early morning appointment. So
we all have those.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So as I was out there, kind of walking the property with the client, and definitely didn't get a lot of sort of buying signals from them. Definitely the sort of wall went up, and I'm not really doing anything now. I just want an estimate, or we're not sure when we're going to do this, and so my mentality was like, okay, I can either go one of two ways. I'm at that crossroads too. Is it the here's your proposal, have a great day, and call me when you're ready, or no, let's go through, let's persevere, let's get down those couple of walls that are there, because most salespeople will throw in the towel there and say, what, this guy's not buying, this couple's not buying, they're not looking to do anything. And the bottom line is, we kept going, we kept talking about it. Let me get to the why. Why is this guy thinking about residing? He told me it was several years that he'd been thinking about this. And I say, if not when, why now?
Yeah.
What's going to
Most people don't do it when they should. They do it when they have to.
and they're reactive to it, exactly. And in this particular couple's case, it was because they had a leak where the roofing met the siding, and the roofer sort of pointed fingers and went like this and says,
Yeah,
"It's not me." Yeah,
it's a siding guy. It's a roof guy.
yeah. So as we got through that conversation, we really got to the crux of why he was having us out there. And once I started hitting onto that pain point for them, he understood that, all right, this guy understands why and what I need to correct it. And then at that point, even further, we sort of regressed and went back, and he says, I'll just take the estimate. I'll call you back when I'm ready. And I said, are you sure? I said, we really got everything, here and, work through. And he said, you know what, why don't you come in? I think I'd really like to have you talk with my wife, and my mom is here, and, we'd really like to get through the selection process. And you know what? And he said, you know what, Kevin, I think time might be the right time. And I was like, yeah, I think it is too. And you know what? And now, as he walked me inside and showed me the massive roof leak that he had, and the staining on the ceiling, and other things, obviously, that would be corrected by that roofing installer, we got to the point of really why we were there, and really drove home the point of, do you really want to live with this? Do you want to encounter that again? So it was just a very, I thought it was a fun experience walking through that and helping that customer get to their ultimate goals, which was to reside the house and eliminate that leak up in the roof.
Yeah, no,
side.
that's great.
So,
And you said it was about like 17,000.
about $17,000
sale.
Yeah.
That's really a testament to good salesmanship. A lot of times, we all do it. You get the call, oh, it's just a free estimate, or I'm not looking
sure.
to do it now. And
Yep.
a lot of times those are actually better than the customers that are like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm ready to, ready to do this, or,
Yeah.
kind of like giving you all the buying signals.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and just a testament to obviously, you know, being professional
Mm-hmm.
and really understanding, the situation, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe you might have still left,
Mm-hmm.
without the sale, but if you're not giving yourself obviously the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to at least do that, then obviously you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that happens a lot, for
Mm-hmm.
salespeople is,
Mm-hmm.
was judging a book by a cover, or
Yes.
assuming they don't have the money. I think a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing, working all the years with my father when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget just one instance that always just uh, kind of reminds me of
Stuck
like
out
that
at you. Yeah. Yeah.
situation. We went to a house. I think it was summertime when I was,
Mm-hmm.
16 years old, and sit with my dad on a Saturday, and when you're young, obviously you're learning, but you want to hang out with your friends, and we went to this house. I remember in local to where we are. Pulled up. The house was just a wreck.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was a hoarder, which I'm sure if you ever walked into one of those houses where
Sure.
you could barely get. It was like a maze.
Mm-hmm.
No kitchen table,
Right.
stuff everywhere. So big house too. So I'm in my head already calculating.
Right.
Like this is a $25,000 job. And
Okay.
the guy definitely has no. I'm like,
Right.
I've been in so many houses with my dad. He's got no money. So I'm like kicking my dad, like, let's get out of here. And he just, going through the process, just kept following through everything. And, nevertheless, at the end of the sit, it was, about $26,000. And the guy's
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, let me go get cash out of the back room,
Wow.
and, that at that time just always stood in my head.
Mm-hmm.
When I go into the house, kind of like I always try to remember, because I've got, I'm human, and, maybe you're having a bad day, or maybe time is rushed and you're trying to get stuff done, and
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, what, for that person, you're just like, they're not buying anything. And, again, you might just write a quote.
Yes.
So kudos obviously to you
Thank you. Yeah.
for that. And for you guys too, if you experiencing that in the home, it's the top closers, that's what it's about, going through the checklist, taking that deep breath, taking the time, especially if it's like a Saturday and you only have, that's your one appointment.
Yeah.
You better exhaust, all options.
And in fairness, it was probably close to 5 no's or 5 unconditioned
Or
no's.
not a direct no, but
not
just
a
like,
direct
yeah.
no, but it was a clue that I'm not doing anything today. You don't have to go through the big whole production, and we really didn't. We talked through it. They those walls started crumbling down, and they said, you know what, okay, you know what, and the key for me was it was either sort of as we always deem it, sort of fight or flight. So you're gonna leave the appointment, you're gonna leave them with a proposal, and hope they call you back, which we know what the stats are on that. We don't need anybody to tell us that.
Yeah.
It's very low. Or okay, I understand that you might not be ready to do that today. However, let me just show you what's out there. And I think that by him, he must have experienced this many times. At least I was speaking with the husband predominantly. The wife was inside and doing some other things until we actually sat down. So that's why I keep referencing it that way. So when we were there, he would give me all those signs to say, Kevin, that's great. I get it. No problem. But we're still going to hang on to it. But then once he invited me in to speak with his wife and his mother sitting at the table, I think there's a comfort factor there. Like, wait a second, he's explaining all the things, he's hitting on all the key points, he's addressing our concerns directly, and that we just felt much more comfortable. And then ultimately we got it down to a price, because that's really what we're after, and we were able to move forward.
Yeah, it's funny too how once you start to break down the barriers,
Yes.
just the comfortability, and then even after they sign, how
Yeah.
like just relax
Yeah,
and just fun the customer becomes.
Yes.
Exciting, and again, a key goes back to a lot of sales is not, it's not pressure, it's not pushy. You never handled the
The
objection.
objection,
You just
right.
kept going through it.
Yes.
You ignored it. But again, make a friend. Make a sale. It's
Yes.
really what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I've always sold. Just the way my father taught me, and I think a lot, even almost with family, but we treat everybody like family, and you kind of going through those barriers and that checklist.
Yeah.
How can you become not only friends with this customer, to earn their trust in business, and then truly guide them through the process and deliver a great experience for them after the fact.
Yeah.
For referrals,
Yeah.
because that's what we're trying to do too. Is not only gain their trust, but also trust for their future. Whereas if their father or, brother or
Sure.
sister or uncle needs,
Mm-hmm.
siding now,
Yeah.
they'll remember those things that you went through. So,
And I think the biggest thing that I took away from that is, and it just drove home the point of, the real crux of why they were calling us is because there was a small section of the fascia board where it had come apart from the gutter, and that was actually driving the leak of the siding component. And when he said to me right before we moved forward with everything, so Kevin, can you state with certainty that this the work that you're going to be providing is absolutely going to correct the need that issue? And that to me was like, wait a second, he's telling me in no lesser terms, this is the reason why I'm doing this job. And I had to learn that and to take that cue and say, yes, it is. And I knew that, and inherently that it would be the
that you would
cure.
because
And I could
again, we
fix
want to
it.
also,
Right.
we want to gain the sale, but we don't want to do, something that can't be done.
That's correct.
Not just become yes
Right.
men. But.
Right, and that became sort of full circle about his pain point, and then we discussed it at the origination of when we walked in the backyard, and then we came full circle by the time we were ready to sign the contract. So I think in his mind, he felt that knowing that this gentleman sitting in front of me, the professional going through everything, and now is going to solidify that this problem is going to be corrected, I'm good to go. That buttoned it up for me. Yep.
Nice, excellent, excellent. Yeah, no, it's great stuff. Obviously, as we continue, through tie downs or just through different experiences, and I think we all as salespeople experience that a lot.
Yeah.
So again, kudos to you and to people out there that might, be in that similar situation or scenario. Don't just pack up and leave you there.
Yeah.
Even listen, even if they might say no, at least you get the practice and the repetition and
Yes.
Of going through
That's what we talked about,
multiple closes, multiple process. Because again, 5 times on average, you'll probably get 5 no's, and
It's just
and
about that for this customer.
there
too.
are
Yeah.
some, there are the good ones, let's call it, you have some
Yeah.
lay downs, you have the
Right.
one that just kind of knows what they want, or maybe you just did that great of a job.
Mm-hmm.
You do get the yes on the first time,
Yeah.
and that does happen too.
Mm-hmm.
So, continue along with that. So, great stuff with that. So wanted to dive in today to give you just an additional close.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we've done a couple of them, but this is one that I'd say, if you learn it and use it correctly, depending on how many in-home appointments you run in a year, I'd say, probably maybe 10 to 15 extra, jobs a year where we get the, we call it the ping pong close.
Yep.
Because you ever watch a ping pong match, obviously it goes back and forth. So
And volley.
it comes down, so it comes down to the end of the close, I'm sorry, to the end of the, your presentation you're going through. Maybe they like everything, and let's say John and Mary, as you go put the pen to paper, she's like, well, I don't know, John, this is all your decision, and John says to Mary, well, no, it's up to you.
Yeah.
And what
all
happened?
been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What happened in that scenario most of the times is, sometime in their life, one of them made a decision and the other one's never going to let them down, let them forgive it. So usually what I do right there, like in football, throw my hands up, just like a T, and say timeout, out loud, and basically to interrupt everything. Otherwise, because if you get it one more time, you're going to get think over. So timeout, then we would say blow a little smoke, but just say, John, Miriam, and thousands of homes every year. And isn't it wonderful? What I'm seeing here is basically you both don't want to go forward with the project unless you're sure the other party is 100% comfortable and wants to go forward too. And isn't that lovely? And isn't that really what marriage is all about? Again, and
Compromise. That's great. Yeah. That's true.
So what we're going to do at that point from there is just say, John, whoever you decide is the dominant decision maker. So
Right.
we determined that earlier in the close. Usually you could tell who's the dominating decision. Let's say in this case it's Mary. Mary, so what you're really saying is you love the product, you love everything, comfortable with me.
Yeah.
It's just that you don't want to go ahead unless you knew John was 100% comfortable in doing the signing as well too.
Isn't that true?
Had you,
Yeah.
had you already known that,
Yeah.
you would have said, let's go ahead and do the signing today, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And she would, Mary would
Because you,
say yes.
you led the witness to that answer, and that's a
Yep.
key
No,
takeaway.
that's key. Exactly. That's where we're breaking this down. But that is key again, leading the witness. So, not if you knew John would want to do it, you do it today.
Yeah.
Again, the aggression. Had you known that John wanted to do it, you would have gone ahead and said, gone ahead, not you going to do it today.
Right.
And then, she'd say, if John wanted to do it, I'd say, let's go ahead and do it.
Right.
And then go to John, as Mary, already said, and you said it, had you known that Mary wanted to do it, and, you were comfortable with everything, you would have gone ahead and said, let's do it. And if Mary, wanted to do it, I'd say go ahead and do it too. Right there, say that takes care of that, doesn't it? And put the pen to paper. It's that simple. Just let it flow. Again, so isolation with everything. So back and forth. I'd say as soon as it goes one time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's up to you. I don't. Right there. Time out. Loud. Even if you have to scream it out.
Well, no, for the effect of it, no, because you want them, to feel that.
Like time out.
Yeah.
And then
you're taking control of the meeting, so don't let that fool you. I mean, Fred's always in control of the meeting when he's there, and that's a critical thing. And also one other thing to point out is the use of tense, as we always talk about that in prior episodes.
Yep, absolutely. Sure. And full circle to everything that we've kind of gone through. Past tense, present tense, leading the witness. Aren't you, can't you, wouldn't you, would it, the different words and terminology are just so key to a smooth sale process where other sales guys, again, as soon as you get that fight or flight or confrontation.
Correct.
So again, time out, then you blow a little, isn't it wonderful, what we have here, and then boom, Mary, you loved everything, what you're saying, you really wanted to go ahead, it's just you want to make sure the other party, your husband, was 100%, had you already known that.
Right.
Not, again, you would have gone ahead and said, let's do this outing. Boom. Next one, John, had your, same thing. That takes care of that, doesn't it? And then just, move on from there. So you handled the situation for them. There is no guesswork. I've done it. You don't always get that, but I, say done at least a dozen times a year.
Sure.
And most guys just let it go, back and forth, and then.
Well,
once you let it go again, it's
think
over. Think over,
and that's the key. That's where you can't go. That's Deadsville, and you become the mayor.
Yeah.
you are. There's no coming back from that. So that's when they're going to ask you for another visit and go through and sort of repump up that balloon, to get them excited again and create that urgency that you've done all the work at that meeting to do. So you certainly want to make sure we don't get down to that.
Yeah. So the ping pong close, it's a great one. As we continue, obviously along, we're gonna. We had one last week. I think we tried week to week, so that we could really break it down and go through other stuff. We'll, give you some more closes, and then, again, any questions or coaching or individual, if you want us to guide you through it, email us. We'll start taking calls soon. We're going to, offering one-on-one, whether it be over the phone or if you're local to where we are, training to really help you guys excel. In the sales industry, and really become, the top, top percentage of your, profession, whether it be most of our stuff is siding, windows, roofing, but let's call it what it is. Sales is sales. How you speak to people, the profession, it really can be allocated towards, any sales profession.
Any sales.
It's just different rewording and whatnot. So. With that, we'll probably close it out today. Any other things you wanted to add?
I would always like to say the things I always reiterate is just as much as I learned from you, full disclosure I do, when we're in the home, we're honing our craft just as much as any other time. I love giving Fred a call, whether I had a good appointment, bad appointment, whatever it might have been. Fred, what would you have done in this situation? And I know he's not there, and I get that, but he's going to know how, what I'm saying, what I'm wording. Can't always, interchange how the customer is responding back, but you could say, hey, next time maybe you want to try this. And he just plants a seed with me like, okay, you know what? I've got that in my repertoire that I know coming down the stretch, if I need something, I can kind of harken back to that. And, and it's a growth, a learning time, and I just love having that feedback and candor. I do the same thing with my sister as well. I mean, she's a great wealth of knowledge, and we're always looking to learn. So, I love the process. I love the journey. It really is.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
That's right.
Practice. Yeah. And if you guys aren't doing that, guys and girls out there, again, every day, tapes, everything to listen to. I do this stuff, because I repeat it, constantly over and over, the closes and how they flow off the tongue again.
Yes.
goes back to thinking about it versus reactionary.
Yes.
You don't want to be in a car with somebody else to think about how to drive.
how to drive.
Red light,
Wow.
step on the gas,
Yeah.
brake, clutch, turn
Yeah.
right, turn
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
When you drive every day, you think about that to your thought process. If your sales process is not as seamless as your driving abilities or everything else you do on a daily basis, then
Subconscious. Yeah.
you're never going to be at the top of this profession.
Yes.
So like a Major League Baseball player, hockey, they're always practicing. To just sit back,
Sure.
and say, hey, I'm a great baseball player. I'm just, I'm not going to take batting practice for 3 weeks because
Yeah.
I'm the
Right.
best there is.
Right. Yeah, sure.
And that really, holding a lot of weight into what we're doing. So. Keep it up, keep up your practice, watch the tapes. Again, email us, questions, concern, and coming, hopefully maybe in the next month, we're going to offer a link with some, we're going to offer like one-on-one coaching through phone calls or Skype video and, help you guys really excel your game to the top level. So thanks for all the love and support.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Have a wonderful day, sales day.
Yeah. Have a great day and go close some sales.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.